right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here. And of course, I'm joined as always with both my co hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion with the hotel Wi Fi. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this holds up and it's still good. um, but guys, we're coming to you a little later this week. Obviously, we're going to have a combined episode, talk a little bit about that Knightmare at Army this past Saturday and previewing a little South Florida. But before we get started, this episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast is brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. And shout out to Cahaba Brewing Company because this Saturday we are going to have our second and final UAB football watch party of the season at 2:30 as UAB takes on South Florida. So Blazer fans, make sure that you get down to Cahaba Brewing Company around 2 o'clock for that 2:30 kickoff. Now, this is going to be an ESPN Plus stream, so we won't be able to have all of the TVs there on the game, but we for sure will have at least one screen dedicated to the Blazer Victory, dedicated to this UAB South Florida game, and they are going to also have, like they did last time, $6 Blazer Victory Pale Ale. So thank you again to Cahaba. And I'm going to continue to spotlight the Oktoberfest, the fantastic seasonal. They will also have that beer in the tap room for this watch party. Well, with that being said, also shout out YouTube. Hey, we cracked 300. We are currently at 303 subscribers. Darian, raise that glass up there. Yeah, raise that glass. Yeah, cheers. Yeah. Thank you all so much. Next stop will be 400, but we have, through this tough season, we've had exponential growth with the Blazer Victory Podcast. So we thank every single one of you that, whether you're subscribed to YouTube or not, whether you're listening to the audio podcast or not, but we just sincerely thank you all so much for supporting us, and we hope to see all of y'all at Cahaba this Saturday. But guys, UAB gets blown out again. I feel like we keep doing this same song, same dance. UAB loses 44-10 in West Point to Army. I was in attendance for that game, obviously.
I didn't see you on TV, John. Why didn't you make a TV appearance?
I don't know. I think there was just so much celebrating on the Army stands, and for everybody, they just didn't even pan over to the UAB section. So, but shout out, hey, I got to see a bunch of Blazer Victory podcast listeners, Doug Carr, John, Jeff, like a bunch of people, Mike, just so many people that honestly stopped me, whether it was on the cruise going to West Point or in the stands, thanking us for what we do and the coverage that we provide for UAB athletics. So that means the world to me and to us. So if y'all ever see us in the stands, or if y'all see us walking in the stadium or Cahaba, please just make sure y'all stop and because we love to see the most out of this whole thing is the interaction with y'all. And we love to put faces on names. We see the comments on YouTube. We see the comments on Facebook, Twitter, and you're like, you tell us your name. Like we can just associate a face with a name. But we love this stuff. We're not, we love to just be down to earth because without y'all, this podcast doesn't exist. But Doug in the stands, he said something that really stuck with me really early in this game, by the way. He said, bad teams don't catch good breaks. And that's for damn sure. Early on, UAB going for it on their own, 20-yard line and not getting a fourth and 1 or 4th and 2, and then jumping off sides. And then the very next play, Daly gets a touchdown, one of 5 touchdowns on the day. Just bad. Just bad football. Darian, where do you want to take us next in discussion to, if you just want to talk about us, like about UAB, that is perfectly fine. We don't have to sit there and dissect the 44-10 loss, really 44-3 loss on a garbage touchdown. That seems to be the thing this year. A lot of garbage fourth quarter touchdowns, trying to make things a little better. But yeah, Darian, I didn't mean to cut you off. Where do we go from here?
Jimmy. I didn't know if Jimmy had anything. I had listened to some of that presser from Trent, and so I have some thoughts there. I don't know if they're frustrating thoughts or just kind of contrasting. Let's say that contrasting thoughts about some of the things he said and some of the challenges that we face right now. So I don't know if Jimmy has some kind of neat stats. I know Jimmy is in the hotel right now.
We at the hotel motel.
Yeah, so he may not have the supercomputer he usually have to keep everything.
I don't even have my personal laptop with me. I'm
Truck
on a
driver.
work computer. I got my.
Truck
I'm only missing my big gulp cup. Somebody give me a UAB big gulp cup.
Hey, well, Jimmy, say before we recorded, give us your notes from the Army game, and then that'll lead to Darian.
I was telling the guys before the game, like, these notes were, they were over quick, kind of like the game, but like I have my UAB Army notes and it says Davis drop on the first play. Nice catch, nice throw and catch by Thomas on second down. 3rd and 2. Kitna scrambles, connects with Davis, but it's short. UAB goes for it in its own territory, and it's short. Witherspoon got the carry ? Thought we were going to play tougher this week. 3 straight pass plays open the game. Cox offsides on the first defensive play. First offensive play, Daily trucks OC Brothers and runs it in for a touchdown. BB with no rush.
Everything is bad.
Man,
BB with no rush attempts in the first 2 drives. Army has 2 rushes for 43 yards. Cut. That was it. I stopped taking notes. What happened after that? The score was probably only 7-0, but the notes just stopped.
Well, I think didn't on the because I was there, but didn't the TV broadcast like say something right after that touchdown? It was like UAB just looked sad on the sideline or something like.
Yeah, they were saying that how I think after that second touchdown, I don't know if it was the second, third, or the 41st touchdown, but it was just saying that how downtrodden. That we looked, and then I was hearing Trent talk about the presser. He was saying he saw himself out there, and he said, "Oh, that ain't me." Like, he was saying that he didn't look as energetic as he thought he was. So
yeah,
it's an interesting tidbit. But
there was no emotion on that sideline the whole game. By the way, like,
so yeah. So tell us like from what you were seeing, and first like the experience, but then secondly, I think honestly, that's like one part that we can actually get out of this is like the experience you had at West Point, but then also like the vibes that you felt in person in the game. And it was sad because I was seeing some people saying like these guys are not even like kind of like celebrating in the stands, like they were just like laughing, having a good time, like they were just like at a bar mitzvah or something, just just kind of just having fun, just I'm just like, man, we're not even being taken serious.
Right. Did you see Roddy White's tweet? Did you see Roddy White's tweet?
Yeah. Yes, that was it. How was the beer inside the stadium, John?
There was no alcohol sold in that stadium, and that was tough, man. Like, and I'm not one to get like drunk in the stands, but if you get
asshole corn state that, John.
Well, hey, UAB ain't swag either. But obviously, like the game day experience at West Point, phenomenal. I highly encourage all UAB fans next time that UAB makes the trip up there to West Point, if you can and you're able, highly recommend. Gorgeous stadium, gorgeous campus. We took the ferry to and from New York City to West Point, so that was fun. But in the fans stopping us, like I really think we had like 15 Army fans stop us on the way inside the stadium and just say thank you for coming and good luck today and the rest of the year. And then they would like give us tidbits to say, hey, make sure you check this out, make sure you check that out before you go. Like, it was an awesome game day experience.
How would you compare it to Navy, since you've done both now?
I like Navy sells beer in the stadium, but that Navy's stadium is off campus, so I think that's how they're able to do that. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But the actual game day itself, I think I got to give the edge to Army, just because of just so beautiful behind the backdrop with the trees and the body of water. Like, it was just fantastic. Now the actual game itself was awful. Like, looking at the sidelines before the game, there was a little bit excitement on the UAB sideline, but Army the whole time, even after the UAB field goal, like, they were just pumped up, like, and to see UAB sideline just so dead. Like, even before the game started, you had a couple guys jump up and do the towel thing, but for the most part, the sideline was dead. No energy.
What's up with like the like there's been those situations with like the opening game scripts. I think it was at Louisiana Monroe.
Mhm.
I think it was a catch that was dropped, potential, first down right off the bat, first play of the game. And then in this game, it would have surely been a first down and some additional yardage. But it's just been something that's bit UAB. We talked about Georgia Southern, the fumble on the road that game. UTSA, I think they had the strip sack, on the road there last season. But then it really extended beyond that, right? Because it wasn't just the first play. You try to think of the outcomes that could happen on a first drive. And, from a betting perspective, I don't know what the number was, but, when you're looking at the plus minus, are they going to score a touchdown, score a field goal, punt it? And it's like any other outcome. Well, any other outcome happened, right? It was a failed, fourth down conversion, but the drop on the first play, and then the decision to go, and then the, couldn't convert, and then the very first defensive play, offsides, and very first, like the actual play beyond the penalty, whatever it was, a 30-something yard run, stiff arm run that made Sports Center. It's 7-0, and you can't just start the game off like that. You just put yourself already in a situation where you're a 26-point dog, and then.
But that's what we do. That's what we've been doing
every game.
Y'all remember the debate we had, right? About like, oh, we need to be aggressive and take. I'm like, I honestly don't think it would have mattered a bit if we would have got the ball first or not. Like, that was the whole catch about the whole debate we was having. Like, why does it even matter right now? Because we're either going to get scored on, or we're going to turn the ball over on downs, or turn it over. It's just the worst of the worst right now where we at. Go back to the game atmosphere. One thing Army don't have is they don't have Blaze of Thunder when you're down 45 points going.
Oh my God!
Into the fourth quarter, down 45. We're gonna come all the way back.
Oh,
So I've been like racking my brain. Like, we've been starting off games the same way, and so it's like two things that I've been thinking about. I was just listening to some of that pressure that Trent had. Was that Monday or Tuesday?
It was Monday.
Yeah, on Monday he had the presser. And initially I at least respected the fact that he was taking full accountability. Like, he's called himself the worst coach. He hasn't shied away from, we look awful, that the criticism is valid. What can you say? Look at the product, right? But he has this way of kind of like, he can talk out of, but from my opinion, this is Darian, nobody else. He can talk out both sides of his mouth. What I mean by that, he'll say one thing, and then later on, probably not right then and there, but later on he'll say something to kind of contradict or give excuses to what he initially was saying. So it was a couple things that irked me. And he talked about, hey, Mort, he looked at this league and he said, man, there's going to be a jump, coming from the CUSA to, I'm not giving any excuses, but we knew that the talent level he was talking about the talent level in the AAC and how difficult it was going to be. And nobody really understood that jump. We got 32-6 by ULM. It's Georgia Southern. What league are they? What about Lafayette?
Mm-hmm.
The second half of Alcorn showed you everything that you needed to know. Like, so I just, and right before him, I mean, we were beating Tulane. We beat Tulane on the road, right?
Yeah, Bill Clark never lost to Tulane in his tenure.
Who did we play in the first game of his? Who was the opponent we played first game last year?
NCAT.
Okay, with NCAT, I mean, there were signs that you remember. I think it was Hooks that was in the game late in the fourth. I think UAB had to score the offense stayed in, the starters stayed in like the majority of that game, and that's been like a trend of playing catch up in second halves and stalling on offense and allowing. We go back to that first drive. We've talked about it against NCAT on the defensive side of the ball, and they were getting chunk plays. They were moving methodically down the field, running the ball against us, and we had some concern. Then there were some flashes, and we broke away. But I mean, there's been signs where how many games into this now? We're 4-8. We're 1-5. I'm not good with math. It's a large enough sample size to be like, hey, we're struggling, and some of those down red flags, I guess is a better way of saying it, have just gotten worse. Unfortunately, in year two.
We got smacked by UTSA. They came from Conference USA with us, right? Like, we were getting smacked by people. We got beat by North Texas. North Texas wasn't a good team last year.
Was FAU last year? Was it FAU I think we lost to?
No, they beat FAU.
Oh, no, we played them at home. Yeah. That was at home.
Yeah, we beat FAU, and we beat Charlotte, and we beat Temple. Those are and then NCAT, But just spitballing off, did I say, yeah, Temple. So just spitballing off the top of my head, it's kind of like, these are just, it's not even that we're not competing. It's not, again, I'm going back to people focus on wins and losses. If you want to go back to BVs last year, all of those one position games like that we lost, right? It was a whole bunch. If you go back and it's kind of like, I was looking at the scores, I'm like, man, there's a whole bunch of close games that we lost, a whole bunch.
It was a weird turnover season. In retrospect, like it was the ball bouncing the other way. Brian Vince's last season.
Especially the Liberty and Western Kentucky, both of those.
Yeah.
Were like.
Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like that type of season, right? Like, and then just to go from kind of last year, what was that question, John? That I think it was like Blazer Nation or somebody posed to kind of like, how did we miss the signs of being this bad or something like that? Like,
yes, I remember you sending us that, John.
And it was a really good question, and it was a thought-provoking question. Yeah, and I know the gist of it, but it was kind of like, how did we miss the sign? Why did we think we were so good?
So welcome to UAB, or
I thought it was like
it might have been Blazer Nation. I'm trying to find it.
Okay, I found it. All right, so welcome to UAB. It says, question, going back to the preseason poll y'all ran, the consensus fan vote was 7 wins, if I remember correctly. Speaking of the fan polls that we did, coming up next week, we got a mid-season review. We're going to look back at those poll questions and see how we're looking. Offensive, defensive player of the year. How many wins did we project? What was the most important game of the season? Tune in next week. But it says here, we officially can no longer reach the fans' expectations. My question is, why did we overvalue this team? Just fan-biased optimism, or was this team oversold to us? ?
And I think, so I was thinking about that, and I think it was a mix of things, right? It was first, the biggest thing is like just assuming that this is Trent and his staff basically were very inexperienced. So many guys, Trent himself came from high school. You thought that that first year of college football. It's like, I know he learned a lot. I know he learned a lot about college football, and I know he learned about like just growing as a coach, right? About the speed of the game, his players. I'm like, okay, they're gonna make the leap, right? Just assuming they're gonna be better than they were. Then secondly, I thought that we were gonna be able to retool in positions that we needed to, like linebacker, safety, offensive line, right? I'm like, man, and then we looked at the recruits. We like, we did. There's OC Brothers. There's Eddie Tewsome. You know, we getting all these. There's DJ Jones. We're getting all these people off of red shirt.
King Penguin.
King Penguin. You know, all of these guys. We're getting Flournoy back from injury. He was our best offensive lineman. Trent told us that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Trent told us that was our best offensive. We getting all of these guys off of red shirt.
He tells us a lot of things.
So naturally, you would think, and then also you think we thought that we were going to go heavy portal or heavy JUCO, right? We didn't. We went with when Trent first got here, they recruited high school. We was like, oh, what we doing? I guess this is going to be a longer rebuild. But you had guys like McQuan Merriweather, who has not played. You had guys like Emon Smalls, who has not played. You have guys like Ricky Lee, who has not played. You got guys like Everett Rousseau, who was their Navy game, only played like one snap. That's a starting linebacker. But you had a whole bunch of young guys that were making play after play after play. So we were like, man, we got all these young guys playing, and we're competing. We were competing with the same Tulane that hung 70 on us. We almost beat them at their crib when they had an NFL quarterback.
Game at the half.
So all of that, we competed way better. Like all of the signs were there. I'm like, I see it. We have a young team, young coaching staff. It was easy to sell. Like next year is going to be lit. The growth, the potential was there. I was really excited. So I had to think about like, what was it? Then it was like, oh, we filled in the gaps. You know, DJ Jones, and you know, we got all the JD Morgans, and who was the not Quiz Yates. What's the tackle from Duke?
Perez.
Caleb Perez is, you know, we got Baron Franks, we got older. We get Flournoy and Jordan Hall and all of these guys off of red shirt, right? Then it's like we got Michael Moore healthy, and we've got OC Brothers, Eddie Tewsome. Welcome home. We got Eddie. We proud of him.
Don't talk about my guy Eddie like that. Eddie, if you're watching, man, I still believe. Let's get you that red shirt. Let's get you.
Let's be clear. I still believe in the player. I think something in translation has gone on with the coaching.
You know, what's the saying? What's the saying, bro?
Maddox.
Attitude reflects leadership.
So if you want to know why we thought, no, we didn't get oversold. We didn't get I thought we did a good job. Look at the defensive line. Look at what we did, right? Even though one of the defensive linemen, I never call out players. One of the defensive linemen, I don't understand why Emon Smalls has to be something going on. Is he injured? We're not clear on that, but so no, this team.
Jason, can we just? I can't wait any longer. Can we talk about Jason Rouse against Army? My guy had 5 tackles every game he plays.
You say you can't wait any longer. We got to talk about Jason.
This is my only talking point for this game. But hold on a second. Let me get back in this box score for a second. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Jason Rouse, if you're listening to this podcast on a Wednesday evening, your son finished this game. I came and found the box score. What was it? 5 tackles, 5 total tackles. I also remember Jason Rouse against North Texas last year. It came in, his number was called, and he balled out. Get this man the game.
All he do is produce.
All he does.
But hold on. If we talking about production, hold on, man. How you gonna talk about Rouse and we not talking about the best player on the freaking team?
The kicker.
Y'all don't know who the best player on the team is?
The kicker.
Jonah Delaney.
Yeah, perfect, man. Hey, that's the one bright spot. But although I like that we're talking about the question though, because you know,
It will be interesting to look back at those projections or those, the polls for the preseason. But Darian makes some good points in that. Even like I try to think about things logically, and like it made logical sense for a lot of different reasons, not just the progression of the young talent in the holes that were filled on paper, the schedule, that we perceive to be easier. And I think ultimately it will be easier after we get through 12 games. It ain't really easier right now. But we were looking at those things and making that logical assessment to say we're going to be a better football team. Outside of that, I do believe that there's been a lot of hype. I think there's been hype shared with us. So were we were we overserved, oversold? Were we oversold? Um, I mean, I think there was belief. I mean, I can't look at the team and be like, "Hey, you're not showing enough energy in the sideline," but also don't tell us you're going to be good. Like, don't tell us that you're going to suck. They believe they were going to be good. So
You
I
know
don't.
what we were oversold on?
What's that?
So one thing you didn't get to hear, John, because you were at the game,
Mhm.
bro. I almost punched a hole in the wall because
Top 10 pick caliber.
he
What?
talked about Jalen Kitna.
Top 10.
They said that he has top 10 talent overall. I'm like, here we go with this, right?
He's
And,
played one game.
Yeah, 2
and then
games,
and then
man.
it was another player. He's a oh yeah, he said about Michael Moore. They was talking about, yeah, he's an NFL type. It was like 3 or 4 type dudes. They was talking about like he's an NFL type guy. I'm like, if we have so many NFL guys, if we have them, why are we getting curb stomped every game? People, again, this is not about wins and losses. Take the record out. Look at the games. Look at the games. The first series that we had was indicative of us. And then that play when we tried to do the shovel tight end and we got
Ooh,
smacked
man.
for like -5 yards, that was indicative of what teams have been doing to us. We can't make plays like that. For whatever reason, that play had nothing to do with talent. He was just doing that was all film study and being accountable and being where you're supposed to be. Nobody touched him because we were supposed to trick him and all of this eye candy. He was a disciplined player, shot the gap, bam, it was over. I'm like, why can't we make a play like that? When was the last time we made a play like that? But they always happen to us. And then what do we do on the other hand? We stall out in the red zone constantly. We can move it. I don't even care about us gaining yards. I really don't care about us gaining yards anymore because I'm like, we're not gonna score. If we don't score from the 30 and out, we're not scoring. Y'all
Guys,
know.
I knew I had no hope when we had the ball at like the 4-yard line, and we had like 3 or 4 chances to get it in there
Oh,
before the
yeah.
half. Like I was just like, oh no, like we're so close.
So now think about how you feel. Think about how y'all feel when we can be on the 2 yard line and we sit here sweating like we on the 2 yard line. two
Yeah.
yard line and we sit here like we ain't gonna score. But if we're going against the Army, if we're going against any other team, all they're gonna do is hand it off. Simple handoff.
2
It's a
yards, yeah.
score every time. That's something that's not physicality. I mean, that has something to do with it. So what you're telling me is now all of a sudden it's kind of putting that on the players, right? Like all of a sudden the guys just ain't that physical. No, because we're deeper than we were last year,
Mhm.
especially in the front seven. Don't sell me that. We're deeper at safety, even with Bracy hurt, right? So don't sit there and just tell me it's all about physicality. Again, that's why I bring up the play where the Army player shot the gap. It's because we don't even make plays like that, right? To where it had nothing to do with physicality. It was all about being where you're supposed to be. Well, we're never what do? We can't even make those plays. We can't make the physical plays. Something isn't right in within the culture of this team.
Well, Darren, you said something um that made me think about this. Like there was some talk. I listened to as many of the interviews as I can, so forgive me. I don't know if this was at the presser, if it was on the radio show, but there was a comment made about, he knows a lot of great minds, in football, and he's listen, to those people. And like, I'm paraphrasing here, but the advice was not what I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was basically like the advice was not right, and you think about last week where they switched it up and they went, I think it was full pads on Tuesday, Wednesday. And then this week there was conversation about where they switched up the routine where Sundays normally I think they're off day, but they came in and did something light on Sunday night. But it seems like every other week. And I guess in some respect, I mean, you can appreciate it. It's like, hey, if what we're doing is not working, keep mixing it up. But it's like every week, it's like, hey, we're going to be a throw, dynamic 200, play, offense. And it's like, hey, we're going to scale it back. There was conversations about, hey, well, if we're gonna just line it up, we're not gonna do eye candy stuff. We're gonna run the ball, but then we came out and threw it 3 times in a row. Like I just don't. And then the whole question about identity came up, right? And I will never forget, um, Darren. I know there was a lot of conversation like last year about what do we want to see, and we weren't even concentrated like on wins and losses. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember like you were talking a lot, like you were so excited to see like what the identity of this team was going to be, and now we sit here and year two and like the question remains, what is the identity? And that's something that fans were asking, but now is being acknowledged by the staff is like they're not quite sure. And I can appreciate the honesty, but we're sitting at these interviews and it's like we don't know. We're going to keep trying, like it's kind of, I don't know.
It's disheartening is what it is. It doesn't, who else can feel that? It's like you're throwing mud at the wall. The players, I've been a part of those teams. I've been a part of those teams here at UAB. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like when it's almost cancerous. It starts to fester, and that belief is not there. And then you get to the part where players are just kind of waiting to get through the season. Like, hey, I'm gonna show up. Hey, we got the game over with. Like, oh, here we're going out to practice. You're not even going out there to get better. You're going out there to get through it. It's like
NBA, Darian, or like the NFL, where it's like you're just waiting to go on that, beach trip, that destination trip.
1, 2, 3, Cancun. But one thing about the NBA and the one thing about the NFL, those people know that their family depends on it. So you ain't got to do all the rah-rah there. You can just say, hey, man, you won't be able to eat. Like, you can, whatever. I don't have to motivate you. You should motivate yourself, right? But here in college, these are kids, right? Like, and so you have to find ways to like get to them. And I think one thing I can think about, and I kind of thought about this, and y'all can see if this makes sense. It's like I'm just looking for answers. So I remember John brought up the Alamo Audible UTSA podcast. I'm like, they've been having a pretty bad year. They just had a really tough loss to Rice. And so I'm like, man, I'm going and I'm listening to them. And I'm like, man, let's trauma bond here, right? Let me hear what their thoughts are, because the funny thing is Jeff Traylor has been very highly successful there. And this year has been abysmal. Why is that? Well, we know that they have a lot of different players there, right? Same coach, same culture, a lot of different players. They're a lot younger. And it just seemed like these guys that they have, the younger guys, just they aren't grasping the leadership part of it as the previous guys did. So I'm looking at, even if you compare it to last year versus this year, we're not even competitive. Is it something about the guys that we empowered to be leaders, right? If you think about it, like last year, we still had the Swoops and we still had the Fishes of the world. We still had the Skulls and the Tajon. We had all of those guys, right? But now, how did we empower the guys? Did we just kind of give them the ropes? Like and say, hey, y'all got it? Did they earn it? The supposed leaders, do they hold the other guys accountable? It's not about, this is a plus, and I'm not throwing a shot. It's a plus when you have a team that serves the community. You want a team that serves. We have a good servicing team. We're probably number one in service. We know that. In
practice and prep national champions 2024.
The key to leadership, to me, and I was thinking about it, the key to me is accountability. And not only able to hold yourself accountable, but being able to hold your teammates accountable and probably having to fight behind it, like whatever you got to do. So that's not, again, that's not about behavior. Have you know what's so frustrating? Have y'all ever played on the team? Y'all had that one guy that can he doesn't work out hard, he doesn't run, he parties all the time, right? It's funny because I think about Dennis Rodman. They say how Dennis Rodman would be in like Vegas partying, but when he got to practice, he did everything right, went hard, held people. You like, how are you doing it, right? Like you just. So it's not about the behavior. It's actually about doing what you're supposed to do in practice, and then getting onto your teammates saying, "No, I need you. I need better from you." Do we have? I'm starting to wonder. Do we have any players? Because I would have been ready to slap somebody getting beat 70-20. 70-20. Listen, I've been part of teams where I got blew out, but at least I was proud of my offensive line. Like whatever, I can't control what that cornerback doing. He getting toasted. But guess what? We blocking what we supposed to block. Receivers just slow. They can't catch the ball. whatever it may be. I'm wondering, do we have any guys on the team? Did our coaches empower? Did they set up a culture to where it's about accountability, not just for yourself, but hey, I need my leaders, no matter how they act or whatever the other problems are, will they be able to tell the guy, get your together, or you're gonna have to see me, or you're gonna get off the field. We need somebody. It seemed like our guys, Jason Rouse. Jason Rouse is accountable. He does his job.
Him and Jonah Delange must be roommates or something. They're just like rubbing off the magic on one another. Hey, we gotta get some of our dudes. That's our problem. Some guy, you know what? Are they trustable?
You're gonna see a lot of those hit the portal when that portal opens up.
Hey, can I say this real quick, and then I don't know if y'all want to talk about who we play this weekend.
South Florida. Hey, yeah, great transition.
Well, I just want to say this one more. I want to do one more rant real quick. Is like this week, y'all, like I've been pretty silent like on X, which is good for me. I'm traveling, can't stay off that thing anyways. But the last couple of weeks been like anger. You know, like I can't believe, we're in this position. Like we were just, we should have kept the other guy. Like what the hell, getting all mad.
The one guy, yeah.
Yeah, but now we're for me, this week's just been kind of like sad. We got some fans taking it too far. We talked about that via text last night. Like hey, now we're getting personal, and it's like, we ain't about that. Like, that's not cool. But then the mood, like I'll look on Twitter and stuff, and like, it's like it just seems like, and then you listen to the interviews, and like Dilfer's just sad, and it's like now I'm kind of sad. And one of the things that made me sad was, kind of the talking about recruiting. I don't know, was it? I don't know who the reporter was. Shout out to them for asking the question that was like this long question there. I know they were kind of laughing about the presser, but about recruiting and like, the state of the program, the health of the program, if you will. And I know I was texting y'all about it, and it was like, hey, there were some comments about NIL, lack thereof, this and that, and like there was a couple of things, and to Darren's point earlier, it's kind of like we're not making excuses, but we kind of are. Overall, I don't think, shout out to coach, he hasn't overall been complaining. There's a lot of coaches that complain about everything. He ain't been like that. But here's what I didn't hear was, and by the way, recruiting, I mean, nobody's talking about it because nothing be happening right now. Go look. Sometimes we get mad in previous years. We're like, these sites aren't, showing who's committed. Well, there ain't nobody committed. But anyways, but it was like, but it was like, here's what made me sad was, this is my rant. UAB is a great school. UAB football has great facilities. UAB football has a amazing new operations facility. UAB has protective stadium. UAB is in the American Athletic Conference. How many of our football games are on national television? I know we probably wish most of them weren't at this time, but how many games have we played in front of a nationally televised audience? We're playing top 25 opponents in our conference. We have a direct path to the college football playoff. Like, I don't want to hear that we don't have NIL. I want to hear about all of the amazing, great education. Like, what a story of this football program. Like, playing time.
Does
Like,
Army and Navy have NIL?
They don't. Army don't even sell beer at their stadium. They ain't got no NIL.
No, they can't do NIL with the academies.
But and then we speaking on recruiting also, just real quick. You remember I thought we were going with the whole young movement, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we kind of went portal heavy, and honestly, a lot of the portal guys aren't really giving what we thought they were gonna give. You know, like if we're being honest here, you remember how we was being sold on the whole running backfield, the three-headed monster.
We probably said that we not in the preseason. We get the best running back room in the country, one of the best running back rooms in the nation.
Where is good? What's going on with Goodwin? You know, like all of that car salesman stuff. But I just don't understand that's another thing that goes on along with lack of identity. I thought we were going to have this youth movement and going to play these younger guys that was coming off of red shirts. And, you know, we play Kelvin Hill, and then it's a whole bunch of portal recruiting. And we had some more recruiting staff. They got brought in, and I just don't understand the direction overall identity. So it's a lot of things. We're trying to pack it all in, but yeah, we'll let John finally transition, because this identity thing is really hitting all over the program, from coaching to recruiting to play style, and how are we running the ball, or are we passing, like what, you know. So
John, we got a watch party. Who's going to be on TV? Who's UAB playing?
Hey, real quick though, I've got a statement to make. You can't ask the fans and make an excuse about NIL or lack thereof of NIL when you're putting that product out on the field. Like, who in their right mind would say, oh yeah, I need to donate thousands of dollars, and they're getting beat 71-20, 44-3, should have been. I just don't get it. I am 100% on board with what Jimmy and Darian just said. And hey, for those that missed the radio pregame, Isaiah Jacobs is out for the season officially. So, and
how many games did he play? Was it 3 or 4?
Okay. It wasn't 5.
It wasn't that was a key number now. 5. It wasn't 5.
Heard anything about Zeno neither, huh?
4 games.
4 games, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we don't want to speculate, but it is. Hey, I'm 100% agree with you, bro. Like 100%. So, but
you know, I went to one of our players' IG, and we had been waiting on this player to return. And I looked and I saw, you know, you can have the stories right under, like the ones that you post right there.
A highlight, yeah.
Highlights. I realized he has a highlight that says red shirt season. And I was sitting here like, you were just posting pictures saying that you were going to return. The return is near, soon. And then it says red shirt season. I am so confused about.
I just want to say, I want to say I'm impressed. If you want to talk about progress, last year, but 4 was confusing, counting to 4. How many games did Emmanuel Waller play last year?
Man, they screwed his.
At least this year we got to stop at 4.
I guess they got it right this year.
They better give my boy his red shirt this year. If that's the case,
you better give that NCAA give that man a hard chip. He played like 1 snap in a 5th game.
I will be watching to see who's hurt. Who, you know, the guy, injuries are bad. They run rampant. You know, they really bad. So I wonder.
It ain't just us. But how many of them dudes on Army, you know, be playing 4 games, and it's like I'm gonna get this procedure real quick.
Let's just keep an eye out on that. Just throwing that out there, and we ain't speculating. We ain't saying nothing. We didn't, John. Right? We didn't say.
Right. You know. Yeah. Right.
We just saying, man. After 4 games, people really get beat up.
And hey, also, like, I'm not crapping on, you know, because we don't crap on players on this podcast.
Yeah, not one.
But are you all like, how come we haven't seen Liddy? How come we haven't seen Posse? How come we haven't seen anybody else at quarterback? And Kitna, I mean, he didn't do a terrible job. I know he's just played 2 games. And Zeno, the injury for the non-throwing shoulder, I just don't understand it. I really don't understand what they are doing with this football team. This is the worst football program in the FBS these last few weeks.
I think UMass would beat us right now.
No, I think Alcorn could give us a damn good game if they played right now.
What about Kennesaw State? How many teams would you bet straight up on a neutral?
We can't defend the triple option. Don't they run the triple?
Man, I'm not gonna pretend I know anything about Kennesaw.
Yeah, I think they run the triple. Yeah.
Is UTEP giving us the business this year?
UTEP is like winless. They hired a guy they were excited about, and that ain't worked out either.
What was that team that was the fake high school?
Bishop Sycamore.
Hey, I want to see UAB and Bishop Sycamore get on the field.
Hey, we got to draw a line somewhere, man.
All right. Well, speaking of a winnable game, this Saturday at 2:30 at at Tampa, Florida. But we hope to see you at Cahaba Brewing Company as UAB takes on the South Florida Bulls. In all seriousness, guys, this is a winnable game for UAB if we haven't been just so god awful the last few weeks.
It's only 2 touchdown line.
It is a 13.5 point spread.
What's South Florida's record?
2-4, but they're probably going to
Miami.
And they're probably going to be without their star quarterback again, Byron Brown.
So they're going to be without their star quarterback. Didn't they just get blew out by like
Memphis 21-3, I think, was the final score there.
Mm-hmm. And Tulane 45-10.
Memphis.
Okay, so they just
Tulane blew them out.
A team without their starting quarterback, who's a phenom, like he's a really good player.
Yeah.
They got 45-10 by Tulane. And we like 2 touchdown underdogs to a 2-4 team.
In all fairness, I mean, this is a road game.
I was going to say, UAB has not won on the road in 2 years.
Hey, this is also, is it homecoming for South Florida? I think that was said before the season. I think it's homecoming.
Yeah, I think so.
We're horrible, bro. Listen, they're 2-4 without their starting quarterback, and they got 45-10, and we're still 2 touchdowns underdogs. Okay. Like, listen to that, man. Like,
hey, if y'all wanna, this has just been us just sitting down, just having like a conversation. Y'all come on out to Cahaba. This is what we're gonna be doing on Saturday. We're gonna be cheering our butts off. We're gonna be having some drinks, having a good time. But if the game gets out of control, just pull up a chair. Let's talk through this a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, this is my birthday weekend, so there is a chance that I may not be able to be at this because we talked about this early in the season. You know what I'm saying? It's sit on the weekend right between me and my wife's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know why your shirt's already unbuttoned. Getting ready for your birthday.
Yeah. Hey, this is a fantastic week. Number one, me and Elizabeth's anniversary is October the 17th.
Okay.
And also, number one, Darian Smith's birthday is on October 17th. Woo! So this is a glorious week for the Blazer Victory podcast, fam. Yeah. And when Shaniqua's birthday? I'm sorry.
The 26th.
The 26th. That's right. So this is a glorious couple of weeks for the Blazer Victory podcast.
We're going to be happy no matter what, because guess what? If they want to perform like that, I don't have any expectations. But guess what? That's still my team. Yep. I'm always don't nobody that's listening to us or watching us, don't get it twisted. That's our losing team. We're losing right now, but damn it, we gonna stick by them until we win. That's just what we do. We bleed green and gold here. We might not have any expectations, right? You know, sometimes if you can have a kid, like for I listen to some of my older friends, they have kids that go through phases. It's like, yeah, that's you know Jim, Jimmy, just using a random Jimmy. This is an alternate timeline, Jimmy, right? Like, Jimmy, man, He's still working on himself. He got locked up the other day. It's only for 3 days. He'll be back out. He's gonna get better. That's all. We just going through a phase. They're going through this weird period, of that's just the damn Blazers. They're going through it right now. They'll be all right. They'll work it out. And when they do, we're gonna be right there with them. So it's our losing team. I'm still proud of them. Win, lose, in between. I don't have any expectations. We just gonna drink, have fun, talk about it. We're past the anger stage.
Hey,
we're in the acceptance and sadness, but it's okay.
If UAB wins out, we're getting BVP tattoos on our ass. Who's joining us?
Hey, let us know. Let us know in the comment section on YouTube.
Would you get a BVP tattoo on that ass if we win out? Yes or no?
I'm gonna get it right here, just like, why you got BVP? That's a gang. I'll be like, it's a dangerous gang, baby.
BVP.
Hey, we still finished. What was that? 7-5. We'll get a bowl game. Win a bowl game too. It's all in front of us, guys.
Yeah, we got everything we want right in front of us, John. What you think? We can reach it.
Next week, I definitely want to talk about. We'll have 5 games left, and I pray that if we can get a dub this weekend, go into a bye week, and then we're looking at those last 5, and it's like we can start. It won't take much.
Y'all said it's winnable. Y'all said it's winnable. What is your confidence meter, John, Jimmy? What? I want to know where y'all confidence meter that we get the dub this weekend.
Oh, bro, I'm more confident that I could dunk a basketball.
I said it was winnable, but it's.
What are you guys more confident in? We win this weekend, or UAB basketball reaches the Sweet 16?
Sweet 16, baby. Oh, let's go.
4 books of the AP. Yaks, if you're listening to this podcast an hour in about football, you're here. We love you, bro. We love you. We love you, AK. Ryan Cross, Rob Williams.
Yeah, we going off the rails. You probably want to go ahead.
We need you. Hey, we got Western Kentucky coming up in a scrimmage coming up. And then we got Vermont. Vermont's coming to Bama, thinking they're going to get a dub in Bartow Arena. Come on.
Never.
Hey, can we say, what the hell? Why are we not selling single game tickets yet? I saw something today. It's like boosters and season tickets.
Yeah, first time. I don't know.
Get the single game tickets on sale.
Less than
I don't understand.
That is, hold on, 1, 2, less than, so just 2.5 weeks from today.
I got a notification today. I thought I saw a tweet or something that was like single game season or single game tickets, available to season ticket holders. Why is single game tickets not available to everybody?
Everybody, yeah. The deadline's passed for season tickets, so I don't
let's go. Let's hype, man.
Right. Yeah, we need that. We need Bartow packed.
Hey, who's in charge of decisions like that?
I don't know. But hey, also the Blazers is supposed to be at Cahaba Brewing Company. Shout out. I was sharing my screen earlier. He is on Twitter, so make sure you give him a follow on Twitter.
He's gonna be handing out some shirts.
Yes, it's supposed to be free gear. Shirt. Yes, we need to.
I don't need a shirt, baby.
I love it. Woo! Let's go, baby. Well, all right, guys. I think that will do it. We hope to see everybody at Cahaba Brewing Company this Saturday, 2:30, as UAB plays South Florida.
Hey, John, do you think Cahaba is loving that we're performing the way we're performing? Because guess what? That's going to make people go to the lines quicker.
we lose. Hey, we didn't drop one stat, though, that whole episode.
There's no need for stats.
John, how much are you going to drink?
Let me talk to Elizabeth beforehand. I don't want to get in trouble. All right. Hey, birthday boy, Darren, go ahead and send us out.
Hey guys, don't drink too much at Cahaba. Okay? No, you know what? Drink it all the way. Just drink your sorrows away. We might get the dub. So
why not? Why not us?
Give us confidence.
Yeah.
Why not?
And Blazer Nation, just Blaze. I was meant to say something else, but just Blaze.
The Blazers.